now let's take a look at solving for interest rate and number of periods. So in this example, we're going to solve for interest rate. So let's say that you pay $78.35 for an investment that promises to pay you $100 per year for the next 5 years. What annual rate of return will you earn on this investment? So one of the tricky parts of these questions is knowing what they're asking. So they're asking you to solve for the interest rate. What annual rate of return will you earn on this investment? So again, I like the financial calculator, but here's how we would set this up on the timeline. So in the financial calculator, we want to know what's our interest rate. So N is 5. The present value is what we're paying, so if that's an outflow, so it will be negative. There are no payments, and the future value is 100. So when we compute interest rate, we get 5%. So now let's say that we want to solve for N. So in this example, we have a security that costs $68.30 and will provide a return of 10% per year, and you want to keep the investment until it grows to a value of $100. How long will that take? So we're starting with $68.30. We're going to hold it until it grows to $100 at 10%. So how long do we have to hold it? Well, we're solving for N. The interest rate is 10. We're investing $68.30, so that's negative $68.30. No payments, and we're going to hold it until it grows to 100. So that's the future value. Compute N, and you get 4. Some other things that we should talk about is compounding frequency. So far, we've just been using an annual compounding frequency because that's easy as we're getting the hang of it. So that just means that interest is going to be paid once a year. But you could have compounding frequency that's more frequent than annual, like semi-annual, quarterly, monthly, and so on. So semi-annual would mean that you're earning interest twice a year. And so we're going to keep that in mind as we work through this next series. So let's say we want to know the future value of a lump sum, but does this compounding frequency make a difference if we keep the interest rate the same? Well, actually it does, because the more often you earn interest, the more you'll have in the end, because you actually earn interest on interest. So so your actual future value will be higher if you have semi-annual compounding versus annual, and quarterly will give you a higher future value than semi-annual, and so on. So let's get some terminology straight. We've been talking about quoted rate, so that's just a simple rate. But the effective annual rate is what you're actually earning. So the simple or quoted rate is only correct, or what you're actually earning, if you're only getting interest once per year. And then the APR is going to be that simple rate, the simple periodic rate, times the number of periods per year. So if I took my simple rate and divided it by 12, then that would give me a simple periodic rate.